I'm Sebastian St. James. What is the best stockbroker in Australia for international shares right now? In a previous video, one of my viewers said, are there any online broker apps that do worldwide stock markets? The answer is yes, but there is a big difference between the different brokerages. Some actually cover a lot of countries, and is exactly what you're after. Others, which are big household names, hardly cover any. This is a list of stockbrokers in Australia provided by the ASX. The list is long. I've gone through every single one of those stockbrokers in Australia to check them out so you don't have to. But you can't contain yourself. Some of you are actually investing with stockbrokers from overseas. I know, how un-Australian. So, I've combed the financial forums to see which stockbrokers you lot are actually using, and I'm including those. This is CommSec, which is from the Commonwealth Bank. Does it have an app? Well, yes it does, and there you go. A lot of Australian stockbrokers actually have apps, but not all of them. This is Amscot, with a big telephone in the front. Does that mean they want you to call them? Well, probably. If you search for their name on the App Store, they don't exist. But why should I care whether a stockbroker has an app or not? Well, it goes back to the question, are there any online broker apps? Aha! So, based on the criteria of this question, if you don't have an app, you're not good enough. The question is, how do I know which way you swing? Do you have a shrine to Steve Jobs and worship it daily, or do you believe in the freedom of Android, which rarely gets software updates? So stockbrokers, unless you have an app for Android and Apple, you are rejected. Now, go and write one. CommSec is so good at writing apps, they've actually written two. And there it is, the CommSec mobile app, which is the regular app, and CommSec Pocket. Oh, what's that one about? When I was at school, there was 3 streams of maths. There was advanced maths, there was general maths, and there was veggie maths. Practical maths, where the kids who really didn't want to be doing maths at all would learn basic skills. CommSec Pocket is a bit like that. Think of it as an app for people who want to invest, but don't really want to make too many decisions. In this video, we'll be focused on the main app. The question is, what countries do you provide me? Well, there's quite a list. Certainly North America, yes. Canada, Asia Pacific, Singapore, France, they're all there. So many countries, what a wonderful broker, until you read the fine print. It's not as it seems. So you log into your CommSec account, you transfer the funds, you launch the international trading platform, like the app, and place a trade for US markets. What about non-US markets? Oh, you contact the International Trade Desk to place a trade on non-US markets. That's right, you phone them up. Everything bar America, you have to phone in, and then you have to pay the brokerage fees that goes with the fact that you've got a human on the end, and they skyrocket. Oh, it's 2023, surely you can do better than that. As this question asks about apps specifically, really, CommSec comes down to one country that they can deal with, which is the US. This is Interactive Brokers. They have an app, very good. And they have so many countries they deal with, they've had to hide them behind tabs. So what are they? Well, there's the North American tab, the Europe tab, which I'm showing now, and the Asia Pacific tab, and it is full of countries. Do they require you to phone in? No, they don't. They actually provide proper access. I've collected all those countries off screen, and I've added them to my list. This is Saxo, investing without borders. Oh, that's what we're after. Saxo Bank is actually a Danish bank, but it is one that you're talking about on the forums, so that's why I've included it. Do they have an app? Yes, look at that, they certainly do. And what countries do they have? Well, they have a massive list, plenty of countries to choose from. This is eToro. Don't get clipped by commissions. Oh, I'd never do that. Do they have an app? Yes, they do. And their exchanges, well, they just go on, a very long list. This is CMC Markets. And they have an app. Oh, well done. Of course, anytime I say they have an app, we're talking about Apple and Android. Well, they've mentioned their custodians by name, and there you go. It's a list that goes on quite a while. Oh, I have a question. How do you invest in New Zealand? Do I have to marry a hobbit? There is something about hobbits that you probably don't know. Well, what's that? If you want to become a New Zealander, a New Zealand citizen, if you marry a hobbit, it's the fastest way by far of getting citizenship in New Zealand. That question was only 7 days ago. How come he's getting his questions answered so quickly? Well, look, Shrimp Tanks is actually one of my members. He's right up the top. He's on the Jump the Question queue. Oh, no wonder his questions are going to the top. And he's a regular thanker. Once again, sending his questions further to the top. If you want priority access for your questions like Shrimp Tanks, hit the join and thanks button below this video. To find out how to buy New Zealand shares, really, I think the best way is to actually go there. Oh, we're taking off on our way to New Zealand. And we've landed. Whoa, we've made it. Look, it turns out CMC Markets is the only stockbroker in my entire list that actually lists that they support New Zealand. I don't doubt for a moment that others do, but they never list it. So if you don't list it, then I can't tell people that you actually support New Zealand. No. So there's the answer to your question. This is Charles Schwab. I don't know what's going on there, but I find it deeply disturbing. They have an app, there you go. And they support US stocks, right? And not much else except for Canadian stocks. Quite limited. This is NabTrade. So another bank, NAB. They have an app, yes, very good. Germany, Hong Kong, UK and US, is that it? Yep, that's the entire list. What's going on with these banks? They're very limited. I can get better service elsewhere. This is Morgan Stanley. Bespoke Wealth Management. Oh, there are some brokers in Australia that deal with wealth management. What does that mean? That is a setup specifically for high net worth individuals. By definition, that will come with a financial advisor, somebody who will make your decisions for you on your behalf because supposedly they know better. So, for this video, unless the stockbroker specifically deals with the general public, I haven't included it in my list. This is Morgan's. They do have an app, very good. They access Australia, you're right, plus international equities across 22 select exchanges. What are those select exchanges? Well, they give us a hint. North America, Europe. Europe is made up of many countries. Asia, once again, it's a continent, it's not an exchange. FTSE 100, the UK, DAX, Germany, CAC, France, Hang Seng, Hong Kong, Nikkei, Japan. But you said there's 22 exchanges you support and then you don't list them. I can't guess what the exchanges are, so I can only list the ones that you listed. This is AudMinNet. They do have an app, which is good. They support the United States, Europe, again, you're talking about a continent, Japan, emerging economies across the globe. By what name? No, we don't tell you, they're just emerging. This is Stake. Stake is one of those favourites that are on forums, but it's actually fairly limited. They support Australia and the US. That's it. Nothing else. If you want to buy the US, of course, problem solved. But if you want to go to other countries, not so much. And they do have an app. There you go. This is SelfWealth. And they support Australia and the US. That's it. They do have an app, so we've included them. This is Pearler. Boring investing for the long term. I see. Do you have an app? Yes, you do. Once again, Australia and the US, and that's it. This is Superhero. Oh, an app named after me. How exciting. They support Australia and the US and nothing else. And there is the app. Very good. This is IG. Share trading, yes. And there's your app for CFDs and stocks, all right? Make sure you press the right buttons. You don't want to be going off into a CFD spiral. They support Australia, UK, US, Germany and Ireland, and that's it. Okay. This is Westpac Share Trading. Oh, a bank. What are you going to support? One country and then I have to phone you up? They support the US, London Stock Exchange, Hong Kong, Tokyo. Yeah, all very good. But of course, I have dug a bit deeper. And as predicted, the United States is supported online. All the rest, no, you have to phone them up. Boo, banks. 2 thumbs down. The time has come. I have assessed all the data and I will now tell you on a per country basis which apps, which actual stockbrokers do support more countries than any other. Wow, that's a big list. As you can see, Austria is supported by international brokers and Saxo. Belgium is supported by CMC Markets, Interactive Brokers, Saxo and eToro. So some countries are well supported, others are not so much. Like China, for example, Saxo is the only one that actually listed them. Finland, only supported by eToro. France, supported by almost everybody. India, which we did a video on just the last video, that would be Interactive Brokers, and that's it. Israel, Interactive Brokers. So what do we notice? Interactive Brokers are supporting a huge number of countries. CMC Markets, little less, but not doing too bad. Saxo's doing very well. eToro's doing very well. And they're your main players, yeah. Over to Norway, there you go, Interactive Brokers, Saxo and eToro. Portugal, the same thing. And Russia's only supported by Interactive Brokers, which is interesting. Spain, your CMC Markets comes back in, but Interactive Brokers, Saxo and eToro. That was a massive effort to collect all that data, and he showed you probably about 40%, and the rest are rejected. But now, if you want to invest in almost any country from Australia, you have the data you need. So, who were we impressed with? Well, international brokers for sure, eToro, Saxo, and CMC Markets. Now, these are not recommendations, they're simply stating facts based on what countries you can invest in according to their own websites. Do you know you can beat the stock market by using this technique? What technique, Sebastian? Oh, it's the 200-day moving average, but if you know how. How? You'll have to watch this video here, or if you've seen that, click here.